We hope this video featuring members of our EC team will help ease any concerns parents and guardians may have about students who receive EC services. It includes information from EC staff and testimony from the parent of an EC student. Thanks for watching.
When you first hear that your child will receive exceptional children's services, it's normal to feel uncertain. What will their typical day at school look like? Where will their classroom be? Will my child be happy? Will they be understood?
I remember the first time I heard the term EC. I didn't know what to expect, and honestly, I was nervous. But after visiting several schools, that weight I was carrying started to lift.
Hello, I'm Jessie Gravel, Director of Exceptional Children for Burke County Public Schools. We currently serve 1,930 students across the district in our EC program from ages 3 to 21. Depending on the child's needs, we offer services like speech therapy, occupational therapy, physical therapy, and more. Our goal is to create individualized plans that help each student succeed and feel valued.
What do EC services look like for elementary students?
That's a great question, and I'm glad you asked. In North Carolina, we use what's called a continuum of services. It just means there are different levels of support we can provide based on what your child needs.
Okay, so what's the first level?
The first and most common option is having your child stay in the regular kindergarten classroom with a few supports added in. We might give them extra time for assignments, sensory breaks, or some visual reminders. We call these accommodations or modifications. They're still learning with their classmates, just with some adjustments.
That sounds great. What if they need more help than that?
Then we can step it up a bit. We might have a special education teacher come into the classroom to work with your child during certain parts of the day. This is called inclusion or co-teaching. Your child is still with their peers, but there's extra adult support to help them stay on track.
Got it. But what if my child needs one-on-one help?
If we see that they need focused work on things like reading, writing, or behavior, we might pull them out of the classroom for short periods. That would be in a resource room, just a smaller space with fewer students where they can get personalized help.
And what if they need a small environment all day?
Then we might look at a self-contained classroom. That means most or all of their day is spent in a smaller special education classroom with a teacher who can give more intensive support. The learning is very personalized and there's often more structure and routine.
Are there other services that could help?
Yes, some students benefit from related services like speech therapy or occupational therapy. We call them speech and OT for short.
Oh, I've heard of speech therapy. What does that involve?
Speech therapy can help with things like how your child says certain sounds, how they express themselves, or even how they understand language. The speech therapist works either in the classroom or in a small setting, depending on what's best for your child.
And what about occupational therapy?
OT focuses on helping kids build everyday skills they need for school, like holding a pencil, cutting with scissors, buttoning a jacket, or staying regulated and focused during the day.
So how do we know what's best?
The IEP team, including you, looks at how your child is doing and what support will help them grow. We always try to keep students in the least restrictive environment, meaning as close to the regular classroom as possible while still meeting their needs. And the plan can change as your child grows and makes progress.
Thank you. That really helps me understand what's possible.
Here in Burke County Public Schools, our EC classrooms are designed so that students can learn in their own unique way. We work together to help students grow socially, emotionally, and academically. Most of our schools have created quiet spaces such as this one that are designed to help students regulate and reset if necessary. We aim so that students can have dignity when they do this. We also have several schools who are creating life skills classrooms where students can practice everyday routines like brushing teeth, folding laundry, and even preparing simple meals. Our goal here in Burke County Public Schools is to prepare our EC children for their life after Burke County Public Schools.
Hi, I'm Leanna McKinney, the principal of Drexel, and this is one of our spaces where our students can have sensory time and movement during the school day. Our EC students are part of our school family. They attend specials like music and PE and recess and visit the media center and enjoy time with their peers throughout the school day.
These are our kids, full of joy, energy, curiosity, and potential. Whether they're learning life skills or sharing a laugh with classmates, they are thriving. We hope this video gave you a glimpse into the love, care, and learning that happens every day in our EC program. We're here, ready to welcome you and your child.
So, what concerns or worries did you have about your child starting kindergarten, and how were those concerns addressed?
So I think I had lots of concerns. I was a very anxious kindergarten mom, and so I was anxious for Roby to go through school, go through that transition to kindergarten, and a lot of his challenges are very specific. You have to get to know him to understand what his challenges are, and so I was concerned that people wouldn't know him and that they wouldn't give him time to transition. And give him time to learn and things like that. And so those concerns were very quickly alleviated because his team worked with him and they did a great job listening to me. And we had lots of questions. They listened to those questions and we developed a game plan for some of the concerns that I had. Like, for example, one of the issues that I was worried about was him riding the bus. And I just didn't know what that would look like and what that would feel like to him. And so just getting some information and education that that there's a person that rides the bus too and those kinds of things was wonderful. And so I felt comfortable. And my questions were always met with responsiveness, I think, and with concern and with understanding. I didn't feel like there was a question that was unfounded or anything like that. Another thing that we did was we toured the school and we got to know the staff and spent time just in the environment, and I was concerned that it would be hard for Roby to be in a different environment during the day, but when we opened the doors to the gym and he just ran around, it was like, oh yeah, this is his place. This is where he's supposed to be.
So weight lifted off your shoulders.
It was absolutely weight lifted off our shoulders. And then on Saturdays after school started, he'd go get his backpack on Saturdays. And I'm like, well, buddy, we're not going to school today. So I knew that he was in the right place.
Good. So as an experienced kindergarten mom now, what advice can you give parents whose child just qualified for EC services?
I think that's a great question. I try to think about what I wish I had known a year ago. And so it would be more of the same. Ask lots of questions. Also, for me, it was learning the IEP process and learning and understanding different roles and different, that was my platform to be able to express some of his needs and the things that I saw for him. But it was also a great dialogue to be able to have with his teachers and his team, to be able to see what they're working on, some of his goals, and he's a surprising little fella. There were things that he wouldn't do at home for me that he does in the classroom and that he does at school and those kinds of things. And so learning that IEP, learning his team, asking lots of questions, and I think having that daily kind of conversation, or at least knowing I can. So Roby's nonverbal, and one of the things that his teacher does is she gives us a daily report, and it can be just something as simple as a smiley face or a frowny face for math, which his math is not his favorite subject, but it's not mine either.
Me neither.
So just being able to hear how his day was, because he can't come home and tell me that, so daily exchange. And also, we use Dojo a lot. And we also will message his teachers if he's had a rough night or if he didn't sleep well and we think, this might be an off day for him. But once again, sometimes he surprises us. And there are things that he will do at school that he doesn't do at home. And there are also times where it's like, I think he's going to have a rough day. and his note from his teacher will be like, Roby had the best day. So I think just growing that trust is critical.
So, what is your vision for your child's future, and how do you see our partnership in supporting that vision?
If I had to say one word, it's a strong partnership. It's definitely strong. And my vision for him is just for him to live his best life. And so when they ask me at his IEP meetings, like what is your goals for Roby? It's like, I just want him to live his best life. And we've been able to partner with his team, and also I think just some time and going through some different things, where we had to figure some things out. I can remember his teacher calling me and saying, we're having some difficulty with transitions, and so us problem solving through that, and kind of saying, well, I think it's probably because he's hungry, and so like even little things like that made the world to me. It makes a difference. And so I'm glad to say that this year his lunchtime is earlier because I think those things matter. And so just having that dialogue and also developing that trust has really, really been important to me, and it's made the difference in our relationship. And I think the school being responsive and also feeling like Roby's important. So,
He is.
he is.
Is there anything else you would like to share about your role as a parent in the EC program, or about the program in general?
Well, I mean, I'm a champion for the EC program. I think it's being under recognized in some ways, and so I think any opportunity to be able to tell a mom or a dad or a grandma, the cool things that we're doing in our school system has really, really made a difference. And also, I think to just be able to say, we're making a difference.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
A quick disclaimer: all identifiable students in this video are stock footage from Canva. Burke County Public Schools footage includes students in spaces with faces intentionally not shown to protect privacy. Stock video is used for creative purposes only. Thank you for watching.